Did you know you can use solid glue to adhere full cover or gel X tips? What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. I am trying something new today. I'm using solid glue, or what other people call non-sticky builder gel, and we're going to adhere our full cover tips that I have from Apres. First, I had to take off the set that I have on. I had this one on for about a week and a half. I didn't use any peel base, so I needed to e-file it off. I grabbed my new favorite bit. It's from Erica's ATA. It's her coarse safety bit. I am absolutely obsessed with it. My dip just like flies off. And I also wanted to e-file down a good amount of my builder gel that I had used to apply the full cover tips that I had on. So I go through, I do that on my nails, and then I work on my nail prep. I get my sanding band out to rough up the surface of my nail. It's a 240 grit. And then I rough up the new growth and go around my cuticles with my favorite Macart cuticle bit. Everything that I use in this video is going to be linked in the description, so you can check it out there. This is my favorite cuticle bit because all it does is very gently get any of the cuticle that's stuck on my nail plate. It gently gets it off. And then I clean my nails with isopropyl alcohol. That's what I'm spraying on it. I like to basically like spray the heck out of my nails everywhere just to make sure I don't have any dust anywhere on my hands. And that's part of why I wear the gloves. The other part is, since I'm going to be using gel and a light, I like to make sure my hands are covered with these UV gloves. So I do know the sizes of all my nails, and I go through and then I start my prep of the actual nails. So what is so great about this part is you're basically custom fitting each full cover tip to your nail. So I set the tip on my nail, and then I look at what areas look like they're not fitting perfectly. So do I need to file down a little bit on the sides? Do I need to file down a little bit on the back? Like, is my cuticle area more flat than what the tip is? Is it more curved? And by doing this prep of your full cover tips, it's going to allow for a more seamless look of your full covers, or some people call them Gel X. Gel X is really just the name for Apres tips. They're the ones who called it Gel X. A lot of people just call any type of full covers Gel X, but it's actually technically just for the Apres brand. But for this sake, we'll just call them Gel X since I am actually using Apres. So what I'm doing is I'm still going through every single nail and I look and see how it fits, where I need to adjust it. And then I'm going to finish prepping the nails by taking a sanding band and roughing up the inside of the nail. This is just going to help with adhesion. So everything that I do, I am doing so that the Gel X tips last as long as possible. So prepping the actual tips first is the number one step. And then you go in and you're going to finish prepping your nails. So I did my nail prep with the e-file, and now I go in and I dehydrate all of my nails, and I do it one hand at a time. So I'm starting with my left hand, I dehydrate each nail, and then I go in and I apply primer to the actual tips. And I apply the primer on the inside of the tips where it's going to meet my nail. And then I go and apply the primer onto my actual nails. I go thumb to pinky and do 2 layers. This all just helps for better adhesion. So anytime I give you guys tips on my channel, I am always giving you advice on how to get your nails to last as long as possible. I know that I pop off my dip powder manis, or sometimes I even, will do peel base underneath a full cover tip. But when I give you advice, I'm always telling you for, how to get everything to stay as long as possible, since I know most of you aren't changing your nails as often as I am. And now that I have these full covers on, I've actually had them on for like 3 weeks now as I'm doing this voiceover, and they are still on rock solid. So I'm absolutely obsessed with this method. Now, the one thing you want to know about, one of the few things you want to know about using this non-sticky builder gel, NSBG as people call it, or solid glue, is that it is thick, okay? Like, if you're used to using builder gel or a nail gel glue to adhere your full covers, this is way thicker. As you can see, I mean, takes a lot of maneuvering. So that's something that for sure you're going to have to get used to. But the upside to this is if you're someone who struggles to get that perfect placement of your full cover tip, this is so much easier to get a beautiful placement of the tip. And you'll see what I mean then. All that you do with these full covers, since the gel is so thick, is that you set it on your nail and then you press it down. It's not like when you're doing a full cover tip with builder gel or a nail gel glue that, you really have to make sure the angle's perfect because there's going to be you could get air bubbles or a bunch of the gel could squeak out. These don't have that issue that I was finding. Now, one of my 10 nails, I did get some air bubbles on, but mostly because I was really tired and I was lazy and I was like, forget it. I'm just going to leave it. It was on my right hand, which I actually don't even show in this video. It was on my right hand ring finger that I got a couple air bubbles and I was like, it's fine. I'm just going to leave it for now because the rest of them look so good. You can see me applying this full cover tip down and I set it down and then you press it down so that the glue goes, from your cuticle and it's like kind of gently squirts up to the top because you want the gel to be covering your entire natural nail. That's going to get it to really adhere there. And then what I was doing was I was testing some different methods to get any of the gel that squeaks out on the sides to get that off my skin and off the full cover tip. First, I tried it with one of my orange wood cuticle sticks and it like worked okay, but not that well. I noticed when I used a silicone nail tool that was like real flat, that was the best way for me to get any of the gel that squeaked out on the sides, get that off. And then I would wipe around my nail with some isopropyl alcohol to make sure that there was no gel left on my skin. That worked really well. And then what also worked really well was using the silicone tools to press the nail glue down. So this solid glue, you need to press it down on the tip first, and it should be pretty flat on your tip before you go and apply it to your nail. These are the short length almonds from Apres. So I noticed that for me, because my hands are so big, I had to grab some nail tweezers and use that to like set the full cover tip onto my nail. And then I was able to go in and press it down to make sure all of that glue got to the top of my nail tips. This is basically, once you get that method down, it is this what I call like a rinse and repeat, right? You're just going through and doing each nail. This non-sticky builder gel is from Sindara, so I was using their clear non-sticky builder gel. And then I also actually bought the Polygel spatula that that they have and used it to scoop out the non-sticky builder gel. It worked great because the Polygel is kind of like this. The Polygel brush is like has the one metal side that is flat and curved, and it worked really well to scoop out the non-sticky builder gel. This definitely took me some time, I'm not gonna lie. It was a learning curve, right? Like I've been working on my gel X skills using mostly just either builder gel or a nail gel glue. So to use this much thicker non-sticky builder gel was a learning curve. But what I absolutely loved it. I feel like as I do this more, it will take me less time because I'm getting used to how to do it. And I loved that this was the least amount of air bubbles that I have ever gotten in an application, which was huge for me. It was so much easier to get the gel all the way from my cuticle up to the top of my nail, because you need that entire nail covered with the gel underneath the full cover tip, or else your full cover tip's going to pop off and not last as long. And, leaving some space in between there, you could leave room for moisture to get in, and that could lead to greenies, which we definitely don't want that. We want our tips to last as long as possible. We don't want any greenies showing up. So I did the same process for each nail. And once I would get the tip to exactly where I wanted it, then I would flash cure for about 15 seconds before moving to the next nail. And I did that for all 10 nails. Now, since my thumbs are so huge, I have to use a size 000 from Apres. And that one is my my medium length almond nails. So that just meant I had to file that nail down a bit more to make sure it was the same length as the other ones. Now, once you've flash cured all your nails and you have them in the right place, then you definitely want to go in and do a full cure. I actually did 90 seconds just to make sure that these babies were fully cured before I went in and did the rest of my application. What you want to do is you really want to make sure that your cuticles are sealed in. And what this means is it's getting your nail tip to be flush to your cuticle area. Now, some people use acetone to do this, but I'm actually allergic to acetone. The acetone melts the tip into like down into your cuticle. But since I'm allergic, for me, I just go in and use a nail drill bit. This works great. It takes longer, I feel like, than using the acetone on a nail brush, but it works really well. I used the Pana 5-in-1 bit in fine and it worked so well. I just went around all of my sidewalls, back around the cuticle area, and really made sure everything was flush down to my natural nail, to the sidewalls, to my cuticles, so it looked way more natural and gave me that seamless look that I was going for. Since the full cover tips are shiny on the top and I'm going to apply builder gel over that, I went through with a buffing block and filed off the shine so that then I really could make sure that my builder gel adheres better. Now, I'm not showing that in a video. I will show that in another video, so make sure you stay till the end and I will link the video that I do show how to apply builder gel over top. But what I did here was really make sure too that my full cover tips were the exact shape that I wanted. So I am going through and buffing off the shine off the top, and then I'll take a hand file and really go in and make sure that shape is exactly how I want and work on my thumbnail so it's not so long compared to all my other ones, since it's actually the next length up. The nice thing about using the full cover tips too is that you can file these down really easily. So let's say that you got almonds and you really want a coffin shape. All you have to do is go in and file the top flat, right? And then if you want to shorten them a little, if they're like, okay, this is just a little bit too long, you can just go in and do all that filing before you add any product over top. I absolutely love this part of applying the full cover tips, like, because it really makes me feel like I am, getting them all to that nice shape. They all are looking super consistent. It just feels really good when I'm at this part because I'm like, yes, we are almost done with the application. If you love how the shape is, you don't have to even do this filing part. I don't know. I'm just so used to filing builder gel that for me, I have to do a little bit of filing of the tips as well. Then you can clean them all with alcohol and move through to do whatever enhancement you want to do on them next. So make sure you check out this next video and I'll show you how to apply builder gel over top.